Take it away, Blake.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to a cast of Ashes of the Singularity Escalation. Here with your host, the General's Gentleman. My name is Blake.
My name is Callum, and we are on Ulrich, casting match between, once again, Shimbalama as the red Substrate.
And his opponent, Amelie, as the blue PHC.
So, Shimbalama's been having a good run today. He beat Dante first round. Second round, he then beat Crash Override. Now he's versing Amelie. These are by far the top three players, or apart from Shimbalama in this tournament.
Yeah.
So
you would think you're gonna have a bad run at that point, but it's like, no, I think we need to now class Shimbalama as right up there.
Yeah. I wish I could kind of bring up that meme that I made, the Harry Potter hat sorting meme, the please on Amelie, please on Amelie.
This doesn't work. What's Amelie doing?
Double factory.
That drains way too hard, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know. Well,
maybe this works. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this works.
So, generally, you can just boost out, though, if you want to rush out the production. He's going to have two factories now.
Even like right now, he should hit to 0 because this 9 drain is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
before those like metal extractors finish.
I do. I think it's really well calculated.
Oh wow. Wow, I've never seen that build work. I'm gonna have to watch this replay and see how he pulled that off. That build is so hard to do. Everyone needs to appreciate how difficult that is not to bottom out on metal income, which is really bad in the early game because you need those capturing units out and you need them out quick. That was calculated within about 10 metal. It's gonna be within 10 metal when you finish.
It was 8.
Oh, it was 8 metal.
If you're not in awe of this, then you should feel bad.
Yeah.
Because that's what you should be doing
That
right
was
now.
next level Ash of the Singularity play right there. That was insane.
Oh, he hit 0, but that's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Hitting 0 doesn't actually matter if it's only for a short time. In fact, hitting 0 is kind of a good thing in a sense that it's like, well done, bro. You're macroing hard.
Yeah, it's an achievement.
Very
impressive. Okay, though nothing to take away from Shimbalama. He's also capping up quite well. Double assembly production. Certainly no issues with his early build order. Is he doing the crazy constructor strat again? I'm going to call it the CC strat, the Shimbalama CC strat. Yeah, we go. There's a constructor running ahead of all the units.
This
That's
map,
pro tanking as well.
Control the middle is really important because you have not only the Tritium generator, but you also have the 5 point. You've got 3 metal and 2 radioactives. So generally you'll see players rush this out and have a bit of a standoff here. It's actually quite open though, so you can flank that unless it's like a really long range defense. But the sides also have a lot of resources. So these maps are all designed to have mobility in mind, that even though they will have a strong choke point, they will also have other points. Plus there's a lot of room here too. So, a lot of resources here in the corner. So air raids are very important as well. You can use orbitals to cut off your opponent and such. So there's always different ways of sort of playing around this bottleneck.
Currently a hard commitment from Shimbalama to the middle of this map. Actually going to capture the stream point and instantly put the pressure on. Looking for a nice frigate engagement, which he's going to find here. Should cut off a few of the units of Shimbalama. Here we go. This should be good.
Yeah, these are only archers. So they overkill, and they also... Not that they overkill individually, but because there's multiple archers, will focus the same martyr.
Oh, so. No way. Oh, no, this is so un-Amelie. Amelie's probably going to... I was going to say he's going to drop this engineer, but I was wrong. I actually responds very quickly, so the engineer will survive this.
He's going to drop the medic, but the Zeus Cruiser's in position now.
Should be fighting this, actually. Can collapse and get a lot of damage down. I'm surprised he's not fighting it. Going to force engineers off, I suppose that's probably the better strat. Just make sure the engineers are forced out of the area, so that's good to see. Also getting some good scouting information down.
There's another group of... Oh, they actually went for the cap. Okay, so... Well, double constructor, he's going to really force this middle position.
Yeah, hopefully we see a lot of defenses start going down now for Shimbalama. He's committed a few units to pulling away Amelie's army, as well as displacing some of the engineers. So his early build order is going to be slightly disrupted in the side of Shimbalama. Early build order looking absolutely a-okay. So hopefully he can actually hang on to this position. Getting some anti-cruiser into this area is probably the best first move. And Apollo was an interesting cruiser choice this early on.
Well, there was a search, a scout plane, so he's blending that up, and also drone hives are very common. We see a drone hive here,
yeah,
so
that's a good point.
I think that's why he went for that. But we see Amelie already has his Terranium generator behind this. He's already got the double rads here. He's got an orbital fabricator, so he's actually looking fine here, despite having lost this middle position. Calls down the sentries, doesn't quite snipe the well, rather he snipes one constructor, but there was two of them. So the Punisher, the Pulverizer rather, does finish. The incursion, of course, would have been better, but he didn't have the quanta to go for. Or maybe he would have if he didn't go the logistics, but he didn't have the logistics.
Logistics is important. You don't want to hamstring your production just for the sake of sniping a couple of constructors. Every chance that there are 4 constructors there as well. So difficult position to actually kind of take and hold, given defense's ranges. This will be a tough fight. Shimbalama has to force Amelie to fight within the range of this Pulverizer. I don't think he's going to go. He's actually going to go for this one. Duluth is really hard.
Yeah, this is a great army by Amelie. He has flanked around the side with a handful of frigates.
Very interesting play from Shimbalama, actually giving up the central position and any ability to hold this forward 5 point.
Yeah, has a Artemis artillery cruiser on the way. Actually, another one there as well. So this Pulverizer undefended will go down.
What would have made more sense to me is building the Pulverizer within, like, inside the radius of the 5 points. You're covering that area, and you have flanking frigates on the side. So the threat is that if you decide to push this point, or you try and use Artemis cruisers against me, I'm just going to jump on your Artemis.
Okay, look at this. He has the Punisher. He went straight for the sensor array. So it takes out the radar contacts, but not in time. The Artemis cruisers do snipe that one down. So I like this air transition. We see that from Shimbalama. He always goes for this air transition. And there is not a lot of anti-air mixed in. Let's see if there's a Sky Factory. Doesn't look like it.
No, it doesn't look like it. That's actually a really nice read from Shimbalama, as well as getting the early pan scout. I also know there wasn't an early one, and just judging from the cruiser production that we see from Amelie, that it was just really heavy investment into cruisers.
Well, but look at this Apollo transition. He's already got 3 on the field, so he should be fine here against the single Punisher. Making a push through the middle of the map now. There's a small amount of cruisers defending, maybe enough.
Yeah, this should be fine. I'm pretty sure if they just play around defenses. I'm surprised that Shimbalama hasn't solidified this for more, but yeah, we're going to get the trade now.
Yeah, he's going in for the attack here. This probably isn't smart for Amelie. The Athenas will do some good damage, but even a Serpentine turret's called down. So yeah, decides to pull back. I do like that choice from Amelie.
Serpentine's maybe a little bit of overkill, but it could certainly be beneficial with later pushes coming in from Amelie, so I'd say good investment overall.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to see Shimbalama isn't entirely neglecting his back caps either. Certainly the possibility that he loses this forward position, so it's important to have economy behind this, otherwise he's going to be in trouble. So has capped at the right-hand side, yet to cap the left, so that's a Trinium point going wanting at the moment, but hopefully he grabs that one eventually when he can afford to pull units.
This is do or die for Shimbalama. The middle of the map is really his entire investment here. Okay, we see the Athena's going to be trading versus the Maulers, and the Substrate cruisers will be outnumbering them. The Apollo cruisers can't do much here. They've brought a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is going to close in and do absolutely nothing to the Maulers. Well, I guess next to nothing. I guess they're helping out.
Yeah, didn't retarget the Apollos, or from the Apollos, so gets cleaned up here. More Maulers on the way, but as I was saying, because there's actually the amplifier in the middle of the map here, so this 5 point with the amplifier is so much of Shimbalama's economy, especially with that Trinium generator. So that's really Shimbalama's concern right now, is holding this center of the map, because the sides just aren't capped and they aren't saturated.
They just aren't at point at this point, especially with Amelie just continually throwing stuff in the middle. Pretty decent economic advantage here for Shimbalama, especially once we have the completion of the amplifier. He's going to be in a really good position.
Gum's actually very similar. Metal and Rad's both very close. Rad's taken a bit of a loss here because these points were sniped, so needs to rebuild those now that he has a bit more of the anti-air they're in position.
Constables are good to see to stop these Punisher run-bys. Constables will certainly make the air transition pay here for Shimbalama if he goes into it heavily, which we have seen in previous matches. A really heavy air transition. At the moment, it's quite light.
Oh, wow.
Oh, see, this is not going to be a good time. That's what we're looking at right here.
2 Apollos, several Constables as well. Yeah, loses really their entire air army. Only a couple of Dominators survive. But still, Amelie is suffering from not having mobile Furies of his own, the air-to-air fighters, because these air units are just finding vulnerable targets where there is no air support.
Can only build so many Constables. Okay, so we do have an Athena still alive. Hopefully these drone hives will take it out. Doesn't look like it, not enough. Double medics here will actually out heal the drone hives. Their anti-cruiser damage is not very high. Okay, so even though the Shimbalama is losing engagements, while Amelie has this 5-point capped, doesn't have any extractors on it, which is where the income really starts flowing in. So at least denying that, it's giving Shimbalama an economic advantage. We can see that slightly ahead in the rads and a good 10 ahead in metal income here as well.
Yeah, that is temporary because of all this, especially because this is actually an amplifier. This one's almost an amplifier too. So Amelie should actually just call down an engineer to finish this off and re-get that metal income. Still continuing to invest in these Punishers, may want to transition out of that, just given the sheer quantity of anti-air that's now on the field. Amplifiers as well here for Shimbalama, so I just really like how he's not being super greedy with this. He is playing this one pretty smart, pretty reserved. He's a nice mix of air, mix of economy, mix of expansion, and still producing cruisers in the middle of the map.
Pretty soon it's not going to matter, even if he gets shoved back from this forward position. His capture rate now finally has double tritium point. I wish Shimbalama had this a little bit earlier and actually decided to cap the tritium, because it's win condition as well. Not only is that steadily ticking in Shimbalama's favor, which is certainly a bonus, it also puts a little bit of pressure on Amelie, a bit of mental pressure, saying, look, I have 2 tritium generators, you have to do something eventually. Eventually you're going to have to push my position. Eventually you have to shove past defenses, and when you put that kind of pressure on a player, it's when they start making mistakes.
I love this little attack force here. Zeus, Cruiser, multiple medics, multiple archers. This can take the cutoff, it can take out the extractors, snipe the constructor, and prevent any expansion there. So that's going to be an absolute thorn in Shimbalama's sign, preventing his expansion there in the corner.
They're going to have to pull off a collection of units to take that one. Really nice unit composition to take out the creeps around the 15-minute mark. Creeps, of course, increasing over time. The longer the game goes on, the more creeps spawn on a point, assuming they haven't been taken out yet. So sending a cruiser is almost a must-have.
So that's a scouting Fury. He wants to see what's there. He sees there's a lot of cruisers, and Amelie must realize that he can't take this fight. He's putting some constables behind this, trying to get some snipes as he can with the Artemis, but would want to avoid an upfront fight. I don't think he could take this. He's got about 5 Athenas there, but a lot of the frigates mixed in there too for Shimbalama. So this is a really good army.
Yeah,
more reinforcements stemming in. Yeah, he pulls back. Amelie knows. There's another Fury squadron there for scouting. I like how he isn't just going blind.
Oh, this is a nice turn.
Yeah, maybe he's going to try and fight and disengage here, but it's too late now. He's committing to it. A lot of Athenas versus the Maulers. I'm pretty sure this is Shimbalama's fight to win. More units are just streaming in here. There are actually a lot of archers though. That may make the difference, but still the drone hives are very powerful versus those frigates. And the army has been cleaned up.
Yeah, the drone hives coming in as reinforcements are going to be enough, and the massive amount of frigate reinforcement pressure certainly putting on a show. Shimbalama is playing out of his mind, and again, this Punisher damage just continues. Finally, we have constables coming up now for Amelie, but the thorn in Amelie's side has been this constant air harassment. And Energy Projector, what are you doing there?
Oh man, if that was put somewhere in his base, he actually built one here. So now he has the EMP unlocked. That would have made a massive difference. But didn't have it in time, I'm guessing, or didn't have the quanta for it.
Okay, these Apollos are going to be great against the drone hives, but there's just not the frigate army there for it to matter. The drone hives have a threat against frigates, but where are the frigates? The frigates aren't there. I'm not sure if the Apollos are going to contribute enough. This should be an easy engagement for Shimbalama. Amelie doesn't have any quanta as well, so can't even use the EMP in this engagement.
Okay, let's see how he goes here. He's got several Athenas, doesn't have vision there on the high ground, so he's taking more damage than he needed to. There's the Furies for the vision. hard to say how this one's going to go, but it looks like the Maulers are just picking off so many of these Athenas, and now all that's left is this weak backline of Apollos and Artemis cruisers.
Surprised this isn't running here for Amelie. They just aren't going to contribute. They aren't going to kill anything.
There's also some reinforcements coming. Meanwhile, he has actually taken the bottom right corner out, so...
At this point, I think Shimbalama should just ignore it and start going for production. Shouldn't even be pulling in. It should just be committing everything to try and win.
The Maulers are getting low on energy, but there's still just more reinforcements here. Shimbalama should mix in some of the capacitors to recharge those energy stores. And even this armory is going to fall here, so I think Amelie is going to be out of this one. He didn't need to take those fights. He should have backed off, waited until he had a better composition, more units grouped up. He didn't have the high ground vision there. Didn't have the Quanta for his EMP pulse, which would have been fantastic. Also trying to go for a cheeky Sky Factory, but I think it's going to be too little too late.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's any way a strategic bomber finishes before this game. There's a critical moment in this game and it just ends. If these armories go down,
GG.
that'd be up. There's the GG call from Amelie. I think that's it. Nicely played. Good stuff from Shimbalama.
Wow, that's incredible. Shimbalama is playing on fire today. We see that his income was actually higher, so his hard middle early expand definitely paid off. Amelie, I think, was not too bad. If he just didn't take those fights, and he saw that his army was small. He had those Furies for the scouting. He saw the army that was there, and yet he didn't pull back quick enough. So
it's almost as if he didn't notice what his composition was.
Yeah.
Like he was looking from a strategic view, and he just saw how many cruisers he had. It's like, oh, I have 15 cruisers. I could definitely take this fight. In reality, those cruisers were mainly Apollos and Artemis, and there were just no Athenas mixed in, and just ends up taking an awful engagement and losing the game. So
yeah, that's rough. I did that sometimes, is we're like, oh, I need anti-air or anti-building, and then you just queue up a bunch of Apollos, and then you forget, exactly. Yeah. And then you look back and you're like, oh, I don't have anything else other than anti-air. Feels bad, man. But yeah, Bradley ATG versus Chronopolize.